As it gets hotter in the summer, I might have to not do the blazer. We'll see. It's warm. It's quite warm. All right, everybody. It's May 20th, 2025, and we're doing Newsday. Some people's favorite hour of the week. Maybe just one person, but he's cute. That person's me. Hold on, let me get this. Boom.
Visually see the electrical eels.
All right, let me start it over.
Listen to, but visually see the electrical eels pulses going throughout the tank. Listen to this.
All right, remind me to turn off the music when it comes to it.
What do you think he's going to do for this?
Now that is trippy. I wonder if you can like Morse code it. You think we can learn to talk to eels on some Aquaman shit?
Such an awesome aquarium. Such an interesting fish.
I mean, it's cool conceptually, but I don't know how long I would want to keep that. I feel like that pulsating noise would get annoying after a while. And I would definitely be interested in learning how to communicate with it using Morse code. That's pretty cool.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Hey, don't run from the Lord.
Don't run from the Lord. Oh, dude, the dismount from the skateboard to the not skateboard, very clean.
Sir. Excuse me. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Hey, don't run from the Lord. Where are you going?
The hey, don't run
Excuse
from the
me,
Lord is so good. All right, next up, we got capybaras. All right, hundreds of capybaras conquered this town. Now what? Capybaras, the rotund, dog-sized rodents native to South America, have recently become a darling of the modern internet, where countless videos show them mellow and perfectly happy to let monkeys and ducks ride on their backs, but to some, the cuddly capybara has become a menace. Since the pandemic, carpachinos, as they are known in Argentina, have proliferated in a picturesque north-gated community north of Buenos Aires. When residents retreated indoors in 2020, the capybaras began to colonize the neighborhoods, finding green grass, fresh water, and no predators, according to biologists hired by the community. Over the past 2 years, the biologists estimate their capybara population has tripled to nearly 1,000, posing a tricky test case for the urban coexistence of humans and wildlife. Since the pandemic, capybaras have proliferated. Look at them. This is almost like they're supposed to be there always. No, dude. I have a funny clip involving a capybara and the game Fall Guys. Attention fauna. Most residents admitted the capybaras are cute, but the rodents also cause traffic accidents, chomp through gardens, and on occasion have attacked some of the community's smallest dogs. That's not cool. They do look like they'd be like a menace, dude. To control the population, the Nordelta organization is now sterilizing some of the adult capybaras in a contraceptive vaccination program approved by the local government. Okay, their lovability has conquered us, and we're fighting for them. Uh-oh. Sylvia Soto is part of a pro-capybara group. No way they come to heads. Imagine they actually wind up like... And then they wind up murking each other, and then it's just the capybaras anyways. They are pushing for the animals to be given their own nature reserve. Wow. I mean, they're, kind of hippo-y. That is interesting. What's really cheeky is the fact that it, like, came out of COVID, and they were able to just kind of meander their way into the space. Tortoise becomes oldest known first-time mom of her species. Two 100-year-old critically endangered Western Santa Cruz Galapagos tortoises have just become first-time parents. The tortoises named Mommy and Abrazo just had 4 of their eggs hatch. The Philly Zoo says the female Mommy, not very creative, but we love our mommies, is the oldest first-time mom of her species in the world. Since 2023, mommy has laid 4 clutches of eggs, but the last 3 didn't result in viable eggs. The current hatchlings were laid in November 2024. Zoo officials dug them up to incubate 8 as male and 8 as female. The sex of the hatchlings is determined. Okay. Boom. Wait.
Meet your babies.
The Philadelphia Zoo is celebrating the birth of
Did he just ask her, are these your babies? She's like, bitch, please. Get your hands off them. Of course they are.
4 critically endangered Galapagos tortoises. It's the first time this has happened at the Philly Zoo.
Pardon my
Even more
language.
astonishing is the age of the hatchlings' parents. The 2 Galapagos tortoises named Abrazo and Mommy are about
Abrazo's a W name.
100 years old. The tortoises can live up to 200 years.
He do be eeling. He do be eeling. I want a turtle just to put them on a skateboard. I miss those old finger skateboards. I used to have them all the time. Not that I was ever good. I couldn't do like a little kick flip, but I mean, we all used to know the little finger skateboard people. Is that even still like a thing that kids have? I'd give them toy weapons from Ninja Turtles. We are on to something great here, Nim. The military about to hit us up. Why is this capybara mooing? Or is it mowing? You never know. They do be cute. Thanks for the water celebration. All right, here we go. Animal good news we're celebrating. Cinema. He's getting better at it. And by the way, I put my list. You know how I do the Google Doc, right? I put this Google Doc. Oh, you can't see that. Google Doc, right? I just put that together in those couple minutes and still managed to try to string them together where it's like I have follow-up stories. Y'all know the vibes. Thank you. So we're tying these together. That's what we just learned about. The first time in its 150-year history. Incredible. A once extinct bird species just laid the first wild eggs in 40 years. Good news. Researchers have created a 3D printed seawall in Miami to protect marine life from coastal erosion. W. An endangered lemur was just born at the Maryland Zoo. We're going to have to catch up on that. Look at that tail. That thing is stunning. Speaking of Zaboomafoo, a federal judge ordered Florida to address water pollution that led to a record number of manatee deaths. I think I've talked about this before, but I remember in 2nd grade I had to do a project, and every little group of kids had to do a project, and you had to pick an animal or it was given to you. I don't remember. But mine was the manatee, and we had to learn about it. And at the time, it was boating. There was basically regulations needed to be made in both the depths of marinas and I think how motors set on boats, because whether it was the depth or lack thereof of the marina water and or the way that the motor set, it was just absolutely effing up the manatee population. So a good example of regulations, in my opinion. All right, manatees. Colorado passed a bipartisan bill requiring medical research animals to be put up for adoption before they are euthanized. Thankfully, they're not forcing people to have to foster them, but trying to get people to adopt them first is definitely awesome. Love to see that. Oh, I don't remember which one's the last one I grabbed. Hold on, no. The one thing I didn't get a chance to do is name these things really before typing them in, so I don't have any cheeky names. How does an extinct bird lay eggs? I think it might be one of those direwolf situations where the species was endangered and they were able to bring back a mom and a pop, and then that happened. That's a good question. We're gonna have to maybe follow that one up. Let me go back to that real quick. We'll have to look that up. We'll come back to that. That's a good question. Good question, class. I actually don't know, but I think it's probably one of those direwolf situations.
National anthem and her nerves.
Hold on.
Here, the 13-year-old, the national anthem and her nerves. 22 years later, the comeback. It was the moment seen by millions more than 2 decades ago.
Oh, say, can you see?
In 2003, a young singer, Natalie Gilbert, just 13, singing the national anthem on the Portland Trailblazers basketball court.
I remember this actually really well.
At the stars like stars.
Starting off strong.
And like, you know, recently someone messed up the national anthem real bad. I can't remember the singer's name. She's kind of well known. She definitely has, regardless of the reason for why they messed up. This girl, it's nerves. The one a couple months ago was she was drunk or hungover or whatever. So, but this girl's 13. The other one is a professional music artist, and she absolutely scuffed the national anthem.
The nerves.
So like, this girl should have never felt bad. She was 13.
Suddenly forgetting some of the lyrics. The team's coach, Maurice Cheeks, quickly stepping to her side to help her. That basketball
Mo Cheeks, also Philadelphia 76er legend, won the championship in the early 80s with them.
coach, soon coaching her.
Oh, the ramparts we walk.
You know, sometimes people just need an arm around their shoulder, you know?
Singing with her and then encouraging the
Oh, that's so dope. March 13th. This is what I mean, though. I have so many of these stories backed up. That's why I need to do Newsday twice a week. You go, girl. And she didn't need an arm around her this time. She just slayed. That's so dope. Dude, that's so dope. I love that he did that back then. I love how they arranged it for this to happen like that. So sick. All right, next up. Fergie's was terrible.
To use and tactile controls in order to be awarded the highest safety ratings.
That's cool.
Motorists, Euro NCAP's new guidance says, should
Let's one for the boomers, baby. No touchscreens.
not have to swipe, jab, or toggle while in motion. Instead, basic controls such as wipers, indicators.
I think that's solid. Like, there's certain things, yes, there's the convenience of touchscreens and stuff, but anyone who's used the touchscreen also knows the frustrations, and adding frustrations, adding inconsistencies, adding inaccuracies while doing something as volatile as driving a motor vehicle isn't ideal. And anything to like rein in inaccuracies, things that can lead to frustrations, I'm all for it. Now, can tactile things stop working? Yes. I mean, but like, it's the fact that you don't have to look at it necessarily to know, like, if you're turning a knob, you can feel it turn 4 clicks. You don't need to look and see that it's now on 4, right?
And hazard lights ought to be activated through analog means. Now, driving is one of the most cerebrally challenging things.
I use volatile, yeah, cerebral, because like, volatile might not have been the best word, but like, things can obviously go well, but when they go bad, it's bad. The swings are crazy.
Humans
Just burn the Tesla.
manage regularly. Yet, in recent years, car makers seem almost addicted to switch-free, touchscreen-laden cockpits that,
Now,
while
hold on, I'll
pleasing to those keen on minimalistic design, are devoid of physical feedback and so force visual interaction, sometimes at the precise moment when your eyes should be fixed on the road. Some savvy automakers are now openly admitting that some smart screens are just dumb. Volkswagen says next-gen models will get physical buttons for volume, seat heating, fan controls, and hazard lights. The latest version of Mazda's CX-60 crossover features a large infotainment screen, yes, but there's still physical switchgear for operating the heater,
Now, that's a good
aircon,
medium.
heated and cooled seats. And while it's still touch-sensitive,
Reaction times using screens while driving are worse than being drunk or high. Why does high always just slandered in this? We don't not that I ever get high, but to my friends who have gotten high, I've never seen one of them melt into a couch. But there's tons of commercials that would have me believe that they would melt into a couch, literally jellify into a couch if they got high.
Sensitive.
No wonder 90% of drivers hate using touchscreens in cars. Finally, the auto industry is coming to its senses. Automakers that nest key controls deep in touchscreen menus, forcing motorists to drive eyes down. That's exactly kind of my point. Is like the feel, the click, click, click. It's kind of like the equivalent of, and I talk about this with texting, right? The modern texting versus using T9 Word is, while in theory it should always be easier to text now, but texting while driving, not that I advocated, and not that that should make policymakers factor in that, because you just shouldn't be texting. But like when you're doing something that's where your eyes are distracted, T9 Word, you can just go, I need to press the 3 button 3 times. I need to press the 5 button twice. And you can literally do it without looking.
Master screen limits what you can prod depending on the app you're using and whether you're in motion. There's also a real click wheel. Subaru is also bringing back physical knobs and buttons in the 2026 Outback. Hyundai, responding to customers, has added more buttons back into the new Santa Fe. If Euro NCAP gets its way, that's likely the direction of travel for all cars from now on. Why does this all matter? Because despite the proliferation of advanced driver systems, motor crash fatalities in the US have increased 21% in the past 15 years. Some 40,000 people have died on the roads in each of the past 3 years. And perhaps most shockingly, touchscreen infotainment systems impair reaction times behind the wheel more than alcohol and narcotics use, according to a 2020 study which discovered that the biggest
Tinfoil hat, 2020 study. Who was even really driving then, Kappa?
negative impact on drivers' reaction.
Well, Apple CarPlay, 57%. How drivers' reaction time slow. This chart shows the percentage increase in distracted driver's response. An undistracted driver typically reacts in 1 second. 57% increase. Yeah, but to your point though, Nim, I'm sure that the car, you would still be able to do Apple CarPlay. It's also why you're supposed to get your your Bluetooth and then get all linked up before you start the car or you go. But you would still be able to Apple CarPlay. It would just be, you would be navigating the menu in a more tactile sense.
To hazards wasn't alcohol and it wasn't cannabis, but it was Apple CarPlay.
Crazy. See, those are the kind of stories we're going to start enveloping more. I mean, we talked about a mortality thing, but in an informative way. Moose on the Move pull in millions of viewers. Well, y'all better be compensating this fool. Moose are on the move in Sweden, beginning their annual migration across the northern part of the country, and millions of people are tuning in to watch. Each spring, hundreds of moose journey to the mountains near the border between Sweden and Norway, looking for new food sources and a place to raise their calves. Since 2019, Swedish public broadcaster has live streamed their trek. More than 9 million people watched around the world last year, and viewership is expected to even grow higher this year. The program is an indication of the rising popularity of the slow TV genre, which features live, unedited, and hours or even months-long coverage of some routine event. Kind of like those Eagles we were watching, usually a theme or a journey in mind.
Sweden, they've begun their annual Moose are on the move in Sweden. They've begun their annual migration across the northern part of the country. NPR's Ayanna Archie.
Let me get caught up on y'all first. That'd be fun. Why did they use an F1 car as the example? Those cockpits have 1 million buttons. That's true. 1 million just on the steering wheel. Yeah, like 20 just on the wheel. I actually think crazy y'all said this, and I wish I would have had it pulled up. I actually, one of the stories that I have, and again, I'm scrolling Instagram, I'm scrolling whatever, and I see them, and I'll try not to watch them. Like in this, I'm boom, like, ooh, this is kind of cool. And I don't watch the video, and then I'll forward it to myself, right? So one of them that I have built up is about the evolution of the Formula One steering wheel. And like, of course, it starts with just a classic wooden steering wheel with no buttons on it. And then you go to the 80s, and it's got 4. and then the real big explosion in the 90s and then mid 2000s.
She reports millions of people are tuning in to watch.
Each spring, hundreds of moose journey from their winter hangout spot to their summer one, which is in the mountains near the Sweden-Norway border. They're looking for new food sources as well as a nice place to raise their calves. Since 2019, Swedish public broadcaster SVT has live-streamed the trip. More than 9 million people watched around the world last year, and viewership is expected to be even higher this year. That's according to an executive producer of the live stream. The program is an indication of how popular the slow TV genre has become. Slow TV includes live, unedited, and hours or even months-long coverage of some routine event, usually with a theme or journey in mind. Ayana Archie, NPR News.
All right, we're going to need to tap into that at some point. All right, next up. Also, I guess I shouldn't have read the caption since the caption is literally just the transcript or the video transcribed. All right, this is a little throwback story, not a recent one, but I thought this was cool. Back in 1984, they needed to fly like a dinosaur structure into the Boston Museum. And these are pictures of it. Kind of trippy to think about. Like as a kid, they're just there. They're in the museum. Or you would figure they would like assemble them in like piece by piece in the museum, not. Or is this in 1984 and this is a living dinosaur that they're transporting? This is Littlefoot. Hold on. Okay. Giant dinosaur models were flown by helicopter to the Museum of Science, capturing national attention. These full-scale replicas, including a towering Tyrannosaurus Rex, were originally built for the 1964 World's Fair in New York. After the fair, they were transported by barge and eventually airlifted to their new home in Boston. The rare sight of dinosaurs flying over city buildings drew large crowds and became a historic museum moment still remembered today. Sinclair dinosaurs on way to New York's World Fair. That's cool. That's actually cool. I like that. That was the third one down, so this one's the fourth one down.
Takes the coziness of his home very seriously. He spent hours furnishing it with moss, bark, and leaves, tucking every piece into place in the same tree hole he returns to every morning. But if a stranger wanders in and barges into his carefully curated space, he does something pretty unexpected. Instead of chasing them off or making a fuss, he just scoots over and makes room. Because when you're a Japanese dwarf flying squirrel, your instinct isn't to fight, it's to snuggle. Living in Japan's mountain forests, these
Yo, I thought he was smoking a bleezy for a second. My man was just nomming on a pine cone or something, but I thought he had an absolute twisted
fluffballs
gin.
often share their tree hollows with family and even friendly neighbors, creating the most
Cuddle party. Cuddle party. Sign me up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on the fifth one. Yo, now this is okay. This one I flipped through. It was only 2 pages. This doesn't work on overlay either. What do you mean? Stupid doesn't? I see it. Hold on, let me refresh it. Maybe. Try it again. A mom speaks out after her 8-year-old son ordered 70,000 Dum-Dums on Amazon. There you go. 70,000. A Kentucky mom is speaking out after her 8-year-old son unknowingly ordered 30 boxes of Dum-Dum Lollipops on Amazon, racking up a $4,200 charge. Woo! She was preparing for church last Sunday. Yes, she was. She's going to have suckers for the whole congregation. When for some reason she felt like checking her bank account. A mother's intuition, am I right? I had just gotten paid, and so when I looked at my bank account and it was in the red, I just immediately panicked. And then looked to see what was causing that, and I saw the $4,200 charged to Amazon. And so immediately looked over at Amazon to see what had happened. He quickly turned. I'm picturing the transaction or the interaction of like the UPS driver or whoever, right? The Amazon truck driver who's like unloading these at the house, and like, you stick your head out. Do I need a sign for this, Randy? Normally it's like, no, you're good. This one it's like, I think you might. This one you might. I might actually need some help. Okay, I didn't watch this video. What I did do was I saw the first slide and I went ahead and read the whole caption. I got captivated. I didn't even realize there was a video. This is hilarious. Look at that. It's literally like they're getting ready for like a big Halloween blow like for the whole the neighborhood, and they need to get a dude that is taller than a human in boxes of Dum-Dums. Also, why do the boxes of Dum-Dums look like boxes of diapers? Is that just me? Great ending. Actually, shocking. I know that I'm just kidding. Amazon, you own Twitch. I love you. But shocking that Amazon did something cool there. But you do worry that, like, other people might hear this and, like, try to accidentally order too much stuff to then get the refund and, like, oh, it was just my 8-year-old son. He didn't mean it. Like, how far does this go down the rabbit hole, Okay, next up. Again, unfortunately, I wasn't able to pre-name these because I was doing them right here on stream and getting ready, but Monarch Butterflies. That's exactly what they look like. Okay, that is a dope bit of perspective. Imagine how light a butterfly is, and then imagine so many of them, it weighs down a tree branch. That's wicked. Spickles. That's pretty cool. And because, hold on, 1, 2, 3. And because Freed is getting better at this, I got a follow up. I'm pretty sure this is the one. Bam. I don't know if revive's the right word, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Oh, big stretches. Big stretch. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. When I can, I gotta shout out UGA, baby. This is UGA's what's it called? Like wildlife department. Nearly 3 years ago to the day, we had an adorable surprise tucked beside the drift fence, a fawn resting quietly in the middle of one of our field routes. Since we had a school group visiting that day, we gently coaxed the fawn about 20 feet away to a safer spot. As an ecology lab, we only intervene in moments like this when necessary, and our trained animal caretakers are experienced in working with native wildlife. The fawn remained close enough for its mother to return without disruption. Let this serve as a gentle reminder to always scan the area before heading out and to respect the space of wildlife that may be nearby. Ugh, spiders for days, dude. Aww. Dude, look at it! Oh my god, so cute! Dudes. It's so cute. Those legs. A doe only visits and nurses their fawn a few times a day to avoid attracting predators. I didn't know that. That's cool. Little factoid. Unless you know that the mother is dead, leave the fawn alone. Because this fawn was in an unsafe location and was coaxed gently to a safe spot close by out of harm's way. What is... I wonder what this stands for. Savannah River Ecology Lab. Savannah River is the river that separates South Carolina and the state of Georgia. It essentially runs basically the length of the eastern border of Georgia, starting further up, and then it gets to some rapids, and it actually goes past Augusta, which is my hometown, and then it goes all the way to the bottom to Savannah, Georgia, which has the second biggest St. Paddy's Day celebration outside of Ireland in the planet. It might be second or third. I think it's third, actually. It's Boston, Chicago, and then Savannah. But anyways, that's the Savannah River. Just a little context. All right, I think this is the last one for the evening. Yo, okay. This I have watched all of them. Yo, what up, Jack? How you doing, dude? So this, I'm not gonna lie. I even wind up posting. I found this. I wound up sharing this story on my real Instagram story, and I wound up watching his videos for like an hour and a half. And I think in my Instagram story, I said something like, yo, y'all need to watch some of these, because whether you like, you know, some people like the satisfying before and after videos, right? Like pressure washing videos or cleaning, you know what I mean? Like where you see the before and after. Some people get some dopamine hit from that. Some love animal care and proper animal care and helping an animal feel better, okay? And then some like hot people. They just like people who are attractive. And so I basically put in my story, I was like, whether you like satisfying before and afters, whether you like animal care or you're a lady into dudes with sleep, because like I'm 100% straight, but objectively, this guy is a handsome lad. And the comment sections are hilarious. There is some thirsty cougars in this man's comment section. But anyway, shout out SW Farriers.
Mate, packing a pad with gel has got to be one of the most satisfying things you'll do as a farrier. Guys, meet Albert.
And I'm not going to lie, before I found this a couple weeks ago, I didn't even know the term farrier.
Unfortunately, Albert is suffering from arthritis. He has unilateral side bone and bony changes on his coven joint and pastern joint. Having all this going on and him being 20 years old.
Dude, that's a little gross. Again, I don't like I can't, especially with humans, I can't do like entrails and incisions and cuts. But this gets so satisfying.
It has been making him lame. So he's been up to the vets where they took some x-rays. After seeing them, I was able to put together a good shoeing package for Albie. Now I went for a Mustad Equilibrium. It has a really good rolled toe on it. I like to think of it like a running
that's
chain.
the other thing. So satisfying before and afters, animal care, attractive human being, objectively. And then also the metal workings. And some of his videos, he's making custom horseshoes. He's making these like pads and things. Like it's actually super dope.
The roll toe will help reduce the leverage on his dip joint. I also went with a digital support pad. Now this is great for help stabilising the bone column, and also will help open the joint ever so slightly, hopefully taking the pressure off where the painful area is. He is a funny horse though. He always likes to hang himself on his lead rope, so he's not getting stronger, guys. He is just snoozing. Then finally I packed his pad with some Mustad Pro Foam. Now this is a fantastic product as it sets literally, it's like expanding foam, and it sets really fast, and it is really soft, and it doesn't let any dirt and debris get down the pad, and it will literally soak all the shock.
To me, I find this mad satisfying, and it's dope to know that like it's designed to try to help alleviate the pressure on the foot pad of this horse.
It's fantastic as it will reduce the irritation of the arthritis. Hopefully Albie will be feeling a lot more comfortable after his new shoes.
Oh yeah, I got into these. Can I see any others without having to log in?
Me, Chester. Now this little fella is one cheeky chap. That's right, he is trying to kick me here, but he is only 4 weeks old and we have never met, so it's only to be expected. Anyway, after lots of tickles and stroking, he did calm right down and actually...
Oh, that's one of the funny things. So in some videos, it's not going to be in this one, but if it's a female horse, he'll like, and he's not, I would like to think, it seemed genuine at first at least. But that, you know, he'll at one point it's like the horse is being a little unruly, and then he might say "good girl," and like so the comments on any of those crack me up. There, it's like I came for the horse, stayed for the good girls, and all that. It's hilarious.
He was a really good boy,
there's some cougars out there.
Now I'm here to help Chester today because unfortunately he has had an infection in his fetlock. It was very swollen and it caused quite a negative HPA for him. He was walking
the fullback from Man City, or was at Man City. He's now on loan at AC Milan. Kyle Runner. I don't know who that is.
His heels and his toe was
maybe it's an account called SW Farriers. He's a farrier.
Into the air. This unfortunately did crush his median.
All right, one more. Hold on. No, not a video. Look at that tiny horse. Yeah, to get the other ones that I was looking at, I need to log in probably. So we'll have to do that next time. Get out of here. No. Oh, thank you. All right, that's Newsday for this fine May 20th. What is that about? That's about 45 minutes, which is what we want it to go. Especially since yesterday I did like a 25-ish minute Newsday. We want it to be about 45 minutes to an hour. I don't want to have to take up too much of y'all's time with it, but I want it to be a chunky thing. Is that Kyle? I didn't get your Kyle Runner, Kyle Walker. Is that Kyle Walker, Kyle Runner? I still don't get it. Like walking to running because he fixed his pad? Yeah. Look, you might need to go back on the drawing board for that one. I'm not sure. The pad? Walker, because he's now running? Oh, mute music in the VOD. Yeah, I think that's about 45 minutes, because I know I started late. Lux got here right around 6:40, and then he was like, you're 4 minutes late around 6:45 or whatever. I think we're done. All right, let's go back to, was it Nim's playlist we were listening to? I'm not gonna lie, I'm in a little weird spot. I kind of want to end it, stream, but also I want to stay on until the Thunder and the Nuggets. Oh no, we listened to it all. Johnny B. Good was the last one. It was Lux's, and we were on Night Fever from Saturday Night Live, which is an incredible submission. Incredible submission. No, he looked like Kyle Walker from that angle. I don't know who Kyle Walker is. Do you mean the footballer? Like the fullback for formerly of Man City? Does he? I mean, that dude was tan, don't get me wrong, but Kyle Walker is a light-skinned black dude. Lux, you okay? I don't see it. Not okay, even shade, skin tone aside, I don't know if I see it.